with sports insight. Zach and Jake, they get it right. Fuck yeah!
Hello, welcome back to the Flurry Sports Podcast Summer Vacation Edition, episode 2 of summer. Episode something much higher than 2 overall. Not sure what it is. Couple hundred. We're over a couple hundred in, right? Gotta be.
I think we celebrated. Didn't we celebrate our 1,000th show?
For sure, no, but that feels right.
Welcome to episode 1,000, everybody.
Gut says no. Brain says you're tired enough for that to be true. Yeah.
No, you're right. It's between 200 and 300 because we celebrated our 200th.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Let us know in the comments what number it is. Just read the title and I'll tell you right there.
100%.
What an interesting way to start the show where everyone's like, it just says this. Today, again, last week, I pat on the back for both of us. We kept it short. Like we said.
We're going to try again.
We're going to try again. And if we can do it like 3 or 4 times in a row, then it's a habit. That's how we build habits.
Exactly.
We're just really referencing those self-help books right now this summer, and that's what's going to happen.
Your World Cup teams are doing okay. Colombia's got a good matchup.
Who do they got? Do you know?
They've got, put me right on the spot, Switzerland.
Oh. Which is that the military bakery one?
Yes.
Okay. Not as cool of a fact. Sorry. Not like Tejo or whatever it was.
Yeah, Colombia and I would say your other Australia did not make it this far, but that was a substitute for the U.S. So I would say
sure, right. U.S. is going to win it all. We know that. I assume Patty Mills is playing for Australia, but Patty Mills feels like a good soccer player too.
It's a great soccer player name. I mean, certainly.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Today, if you are subscribers to the Flurry Sports Fantasy Football channel, you probably have heard about this topic. If you're super into fantasy football, I found out today, hit or miss if you've even heard about this topic, but we are going to talk about the Matt Miller allegations and the entire situation. It's messy. It's interesting. It's fun. I did a full produced, like scripted video on the Flurry Sports Fantasy Football channel that we are going to watch a lot of. We'll go through it because it helps tell the story, the narrative, and it's been pretty publicly, positive reception to this video, which I do really appreciate. It's been a long time since I've made I don't want to say like a lot of effort into a video. That sounds bad, but it's kind of true.
Yeah. Pre-planned video. Yeah.
I'm a bullet point guy. That's my planning usually. I did a lot more. There's editing, all that, because this is a story that has a lot of twists and turns. It gets messy. There's a lot of layers. And after publishing that video, more stuff has come out, and we'll talk about more of that today. We'll look at the subreddit a little bit that has details that I wanted to include in the video, but I didn't want to bog down the video, so we can talk about that a little bit. Jake is in the dark about this topic, as is I had like a conference call with someone about a fantasy football company today, and he didn't even really know about it. So I got to explain to him that too. So, I mean, it's the summer, so everyone's doing stuff.
Correct. Truly
hit or misses if you've even heard about this, because it's not like you're going to read this on ESPN. You're not going to hear this on like the mainstream networks because, hey, he's wrapped up in them. And it's a really, really bad look, as you will find out. Any initial questions before we get started with it?
No, I think for folks who don't know, knowing who Matt Miller is would be a good intro. Anything else people need to know before watching the video?
No, because I talk about, I started off with who Matt Miller is.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's jump into it then. I'm excited. Like Zach said, I'm coming in fresh. I've not yet watched this video, not because I do not want to support, but so that we can make better content today. So let's do it.
We'll watch the intro, and then we'll skip the part about who is Matt Miller. I'll just briefly talk about it here. We don't need to go through it all, but here we go. Matt Miller, one of ESPN's top NFL draft analysts, just got his arm amputated in a life-saving surgery. His family launched a GoFundMe, and it raised $40,000 in 48 hours. Pat McAfee donated. Adam Schefter, even Mel Kiper Jr. donated. And then the internet found a Reddit thread, and everything changed. those deep in the fantasy community like myself have heard some rumblings about Matt Miller for a little bit now, but that Reddit thread I mentioned has really shined a light and put a new perspective on a lot of things for a lot of new people. Today, we're going to walk through it all. The car crash where he crossed the center line and hit a semi, the GoFundMe that has been called anything from controversial to predatory, and, of course, fraud via charity fantasy football leagues. So, that's the intro to it. So a lot of things there, obviously. Initial thoughts before
Does this guy still have 2 arms?
No.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conspiracy theorists and people just fully denying everything about this. The next sentence in that video literally is me just being like, disclaimer, this shit's actually real. There's been so many people being like, until he shows up with an arm missing, I don't believe that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Which,
okay,
that's taking a little too far. He got in a car accident. We'll look at his car. And I don't know how he survived.
I think that's a good context. So we're not necessarily looking at the injury as the fraud as much as the next steps in action. My other thought is
is just the branch that leads us to discovering the fraud. Essentially.
100%. Other thought, immediate, without watching any more, is anytime I hear celebrity, and like, listen, he's borderline celebrity, but he works at ESPN. Anytime I hear borderline celebrity plus GoFundMe, I get a shiver because I'm like, uh-oh, why do you need the money? I don't, so
yeah,
we'll see. Like T.O. had a GoFundMe when he was let go for sex scandal. And I always thought that was funny. It's like, T.O., you do that. Yeah. You don't
support.
Need it.
True. So Matt Miller, for those who don't know, he is ESPN's top or co-top NFL draft analyst. The other one you would think of is Mel Kiper Jr.
Yes.
They're essentially equals now. Before that, he spent a decade at Bleacher Report as their top NFL draft person. He's the most read person in Bleacher Report's history per them. So, like, big deal, obviously, over there. And he was like the big social media NFL draft guy when the NFL draft coverage and online stuff was really exploding. Like before, we didn't really see sites do their own mock drafts. We didn't see sites do their oon projections. Like it was Mel Kiper Jr. and that's it. And Matt Miller was the one that rose up. And then in 20-something, like 2021 maybe, he went to ESPN. So he spent a decade at Bleacher Report, went to ESPN. He's been there ever since. And he's been on like Get Up. He's been on NFL Live. He's been on everything, NFL Draft Specials. So he is like a big shot at ESPN. He's not just a low-level guy. So he makes plenty of money. He's a very notable person there. And then we will look at it now that he gets into this massive car accident. And then a GoFundMe was posted. And people are mad, and we'll get into it, but they're mad. One reason is like, you don't need our money.
Yeah.
And then 2, because of this Reddit thread that we'll get into. But yeah, he's a trusted NFL draft, NFL analyst guy.
Got it.
At ESPN. So that's why you haven't heard ESPN cover this, because ESPN is staying quiet. Okay. Let's skip to... Yeah, so then next section is just a who is Matt Miller, if you want to go watch that. Now here's the car accident.
A serious crash on Missouri 96 near Oronogo sends a Webb City man to Mercy Joplin. I'm Shannon Becker, KOAM News Now. Crash occurred just east of the Missouri 43 and 96 roundabout, where a Bronco crossed the center line and struck a tractor trailer who swerved to avoid missing the Bronco. Despite the semi-swerving, the Bronco still came into his lane, causing the collision. The Webb City man was still communicating with EMS on the scene, but was rushed to Mercy. Friends tell us he has a long road to recovery.
So Matt Miller was in a life-threatening car accident. As you saw from what was left of his Ford Bronco, it's a miracle he's still alive. Miller crossed the center line, hit an oncoming semi driven by a 28-year-old. Luckily, that semi driver is said to be completely fine physically, and hopefully he's not impacted financially from this entire situation. As of now, it's unclear if there are any charges being filed as a result of that accident, but Miller He was airlifted from the scene and has been in the ICU ever since. 6 days after that accident, he posted to X or Twitter. Miller. So, so really bad accident.
Yeah.
28-year-old semi driver. Apparently, Matt Miller went into his lane. The semi swerved and still caused that much damage. So he was very clearly way in that lane, right? And people are wondering why.
Yeah.
You find out later. I'm not sure if I touched about the timeline in this video, but a day or two before this is when things started to heat up a little bit about the Reddit that we'll talk about in a little bit, where Matt Miller started to get exposed for the fraud that we'll talk about. So people are wondering, is this linked? And again,
interesting.
We can talk about it after. I have no idea, and I don't think there's any it's pure speculation on whether you think so or not. There's no evidence either way, I don't think.
This is a good spot to put in. You're reporting on everything we know, right? There's not conjecture here on the exact facts, but even in there, it's stuff that I didn't know that's good to know is the news is reporting he went into the truck driver's lane. The news is reporting he was badly injured, and the news is reporting he apparently had a long road to recovery. So this is all lining up. What happens next? I can't wait to see what the scandal is, but seems to make sense. All of this first stuff doesn't seem to be in question.
No. That's why, there's conspiracy theorists saying, did this even happen? Blah, blah, blah. This feels very real. I can't imagine, everybody was in on this. So he's hurt badly. Then 6 days after the accident took place, he tweeted this. Miller posted, "Last week, I was involved in a serious car accident in Missouri and was airlifted to Mercy Hospital. I'm deeply grateful for the exceptional care I received from the first responders to the doctors, nurses, medical staff. I'm incredibly fortunate to be writing this. As a result of the accident, I sustained significant injuries, including multiple fractures, broken ribs. I also underwent life-saving amputation of my left arm. While I have a long road ahead, I'm focused on my recovery and taking things a day at a time. Thank you for the overwhelming support, prayers, and kind messages. They have meant so much to me and my family during this time. I look forward to continuing my recovery and getting back to ESPN to talk football, including what should be an exciting 2027 NFL draft class." Okay. At this point in the story, the response to that was a warm one. ESPN's PR posted, "ESPN's thoughts are with Matt Miller and his loved ones. We wish him strength in his recovery and look forward to seeing him back at ESPN when he's ready." Ian Rappaport said to hang in there. I mean, maybe a poor choice of words there. Adam Schefter sent his best wishes, whatever that is worth. But then 2 days after this post, Matt Miller's family posted a GoFundMe, and that changed everything. So we'll talk about the GoFundMe now. GoFundMe directly because of this accident.
Yeah, it 100% makes sense in a vacuum. We've already talked about the finance piece for his position. I would say right now, just because I'm trying to respond with nuance until I learn things out, there's a world, I'm sure this is immediately going to not be the case, but my immediate thought is there's a world where honestly, this is maybe a worse look for ESPN than it is for him. Because let's say 100%. He needs the GoFundMe. What the hell?
Exactly.
If that's the case, that also is crazy. If that's probably revealing of some spending pieces in his life or different things, especially because former player, like you said, but
not a former player.
Oh, not former player. Sorry, just draft analyst.
Draft analyst. Okay. But like I said, he makes six figures. There's no way he does not.
Yes, and still, listen, medical in the US is crazy, maybe. But still, there's a world where this is the worst look for ESPN, where it's thanks for all your support, and maybe not the insurance I should have. So 100%. I'm interested to see that, but at this point, I guess there's a world where the GoFundMe goes that way, where it's how is this person not? I mean, we've seen that with former NFL players, where it's they do need financial support for their medical pieces. It's how does the NFL not take better care of you? So I guess it could go that way too.
Right. And that has been a critique of the GoFundMe too. I mean, there's a million of them. People are just mad for every reason at this guy. But this video, like I said in the beginning, we skipped over it, but I'm very objective, just saying the facts.
Yes.
Facts, very fair. And then at the end, I give my own point of view. But yeah, just facts right now. Organized by Caitlin Beaver Miller, a GoFundMe was posted on behalf of Matt Miller with the description reading, "This GoFundMe has been created to help ease the financial burden on Matt and his family so they can focus on what matters most, his recovery. Your generosity will help offset medical and rehab costs, travel, lodging for family members, daily living expenses, and other unforeseen costs that come with such a life-altering injury. We have seen Pat McAfee donate $5,525. Adam Schefter donated $1,000. Mel Kiper Jr. donated another $1,000. By the way, I didn't mention it, but St. Omni donated $1,000. Like, what the hell? And other ESPN colleagues donated as well. The initial goal was set to $10,000, and within hours, that was passed. That goal was raised to $30,000, then $55,000, and as of recording, over $50,000 has been sent through this GoFundMe, and many people are not happy about that. Now, I want to be fair here. There's time for my thoughts later, but we're just talking about the facts right now, and the facts are that medical bills are ridiculously high. Even with insurance, there's no doubt Miller and his family will be buried in expenses here. So on its face, this GoFundMe isn't an unreasonable thing to do, but there's a few things that the community is pretty upset about. First off, Matt Miller is one of the faces of ESPN's NFL draft coverage. He isn't just some low-level contributor. He's a top dog for the industry leader. So not only does he make tons of money, but his employer likely could have helped out, not his fans or his coworkers. Another added fact to this is that he caused the accident. That's a fact in the case. He crossed the center line. The semi-driver swerved to avoid him, and he was still hit. Again, thank God that semi-driver wasn't severely harmed or killed. So, does the one at fault deserve a fundraiser? That's a moral question I would love to hear your thoughts about. And there's been a lot of... But yeah, so that's like a big critique too. Yeah. And that's totally fair. And I don't have the answer to that because like his family didn't do it, right? But he did. Does he deserve it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think, listen, I like how you phrased it in the video. I think it certainly depends on the case. I don't think it's like one size fits all for every GoFundMe. This is a particular one. I think, again, I like how you worded on the surface. Medical bills are crazy. He's not making anyone donate.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But at the same time, this isn't attached to a report of what happened, right? It's like, it is a little bit like, I work at a college. I've had students like set up GoFundMes for, first underage money, where it's like, whose fault is that? Mm-hmm. But people choose to donate. And I'm like, they didn't make them donate. So, it was a choice of their own. That piece is true. The ESPN part so far from what we know is the piece where it's like, especially seeing that a large chunk of donations came from his other wealthy colleagues, like Howie Roseman was also listed in there. Like, so people in the industry, that's great. And so the fact we can see that is interesting. And also just like the fact GoFundMe now serves as part of America's health system is sad and insane. But like, where's the head of Disney? Where's I didn't see him donate. Yeah, there's a lot of billionaires in this company who shared the PR story.
No, Stephen A.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So, I don't want to just jump to like pointing fingers at how isn't this covered, but I do think it is worthy of a question of like, why is this necessary? Is a fair question to be asked. Very much so.
Oh yeah, 100%. A little bit left of this.
A lot of tension surrounding that question, and it turns out there's been some tension around Miller with some other stuff that has been only made louder as a result of this. And when compounded with the GoFundMe, I mean, people are very angry and they are very, very suspicious.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Little sponsor. So go to games.flurrysports.org and check out the games there.
Yes.
Yes. But we'll do a little bit more of that next week. Lots of games, daily games. You can play them every single day. If you're a fan of Wordle and you're also a fan of sports, it's a similar concept. You can play daily sports games. Video. But now let's get into subreddit kind of changed everything.
Let's talk about the Reddit thread, because this is the thing that's completely changed the story. Kind of like how a recent story went from stolen Legos to police corruption.
By the way, did you follow that? Reckless Ben, this Lego stuff?
No.
Oh, you should check this out. This is one of the craziest things of all time.
Okay.
You and Claire will love this. I'll
wait.
Give you the lowdown later. Go check out Reckless Ben Legos.
Before the car accident even took place, there was a post on r/Dynasty Fantasy Football accusing Matt Miller of a pattern of behavior across multiple years. Many people have come forward with independent accounts, and the details across multiple users, multiple contexts, multiple time frames, they all align. The initial post read, "Anyone in a league with ESPN's Matt Miller and not get paid as a winner? He has ghosted hours since the championship and provided zero communication on what funds went to charity, providing payouts to the winners. I've seen a few others in the same boat and wanted to see if this is a wider spread problem than a couple of leaks." So this thread went viral on social media when someone named Tommy Callahan posted it to X. Callahan said he was happy to donate to the GoFundMe until he saw this Reddit post. He went on to summarize other Redditors' experiences as well. Callahan wrote Miller allegedly ran sleeper charity leagues where he took over 50% admin cuts or never paid the winners. So for charity fantasy leagues, participants pay the fees, and the admin, in this case Matt Miller, is supposed to either donate those proceeds or pay the winners as stated. It's a trust-based system. So here's where it gets worse. Per the Reddit thread, when people pressed Miller about payouts, that he didn't pay obviously, he claimed that he had been banned from Sleeper, Blue Sky, Twitter, Venmo, and he couldn't access those funds. This is an excuse that's tough to believe once, but apparently multiple people in multiple leagues across multiple years allegedly got some version of this exact story. Participants claim when they synced Miller's Sleeper profile to third-party tools, his account showed that he was managing hundreds of charity leagues. The issue? He was telling individual participants he was running only one or two. There were hundreds, and remember those 50% admin costs. The other allegations essentially boil down to him selling a service and then just ghosting the customers once he gets their money. There were paid scouting lessons as well as newsletters and other subscriptions where people paid and then they were just ghosted. They all said that they either never got a refund or it was extremely difficult to get, and they only got it after threatening to go to ESPN's PR or their general counsel. Across all of these different accounts from people in different points of time, different contexts, different purchases, the pattern from Matt Miller was always the same. He would take their money, go completely silent, and then he would only respond if they threatened to tell mom and dad, aka ESPN, about this. Some allege all of this money was used for other addictions, but some just say he's a terrible person. Others think he's just the worst communicator on the planet.
So that's essentially what this is.
God. Yeah.
He gets in a car accident. This was already up there. So this was already there for like a month. But then he gets into a car accident and people are like, oh, let's go donate to this GoFundMe. And then other people were like, wait a minute. This guy's a scumbag and you all need to know before you give him his money. So after getting in a car accident, that's when all of this comes out. It's crazy.
Yeah. And like, first off, this is a great time to plug that original video. Please go support it. It looks great, Zach. So I'm going to watch it after too. But we were jumping around. There's more to see. So please go check that out in addition to this. But I mean, listen, you can think whatever you want. I think I'm going to do an okay job laying this out here. And I think it paints a pretty specific picture, which is guy initiates accident, gets injured, asks for money, and is found to A, be rich from job alone, and to be taking advantage of people, whether that is through, even if he's a bad communicator, fine. You're taking advantage of people either through incompetence or intent.
Right. Yeah. Regardless. You did the wrong, you know?
Correct. And seemingly, again, hearing this here, and a lot of this is coming from Reddit threads of pieces, but seems corroborated that like he's telling people he's only running one or two of these, and that is very much not true. So that alone, huge red flag, especially, you know, and again, a lot of the money seemingly coming from peers who I'm also going to guess don't know any of this for the most part.
Yeah. Doesn't seem that way.
No way St. Omni knows.
No way St. Omni does. What I will say is I've heard that he doesn't pay out people and is a douche.
Yes.
I've heard that for years.
Yeah.
That he's just not a good dude, essentially.
And if that was enough, I mean, that would have been even if the GoFundMe didn't have any questions around it outside of that, giving money to a person who has scammed folks in some way, reportedly, allegedly, that's enough to raise major red flags. On top of, should this guy have been asking for money in the first place?
Right. So
the Pat wants to talk about this so bad.
I haven't been watching, so I wonder if he has, because I assume he has. There's no way he keeps his mouth shut.
Yeah.
There's no shot. The rest of that video is my personal thoughts. One thing I do want to bring up here is there's been so many people very upset that the GoFundMe keeps getting raised, the goal, because people are assuming his family or him or whatever just keep raising the goal just to get more money, and they're like super, evil about it. But I will say, no one's brought this up, and it blows my mind that everyone's just so upset with this guy that they don't want to look into anything. GoFundMe is an automatic goal feature.
Correct.
So it just automatically goes up if the goal gets hit. So like I lay it out, in 48 hours, they raised $40,000. So, and everyone keeps saying they saw the goal at 10,000 and 30,000. That matches up perfectly that it raced past 30,000. And, now it's set at 55,000, staying right there. I go through my other thoughts too, but that's one thing I really wanted to clarify. And I was like, there's enough things to be mad about. You don't need to be mad about that part. And you could say they should have set a hard goal, and you could say they shouldn't have done a GoFundMe ever.
Yeah.
But you don't need to criticize the raising of the goal automatically in this case, I don't think.
Just like we don't need to criticize his injury.
Right. Yeah.
There's enough here without being like, which again, I raised, but I didn't know. Is he actually injured in that way? Seems to be verified.
Yeah, he was airlifted. So and you saw the car. That was his car. That's verified.
News is going to corroborate that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I assume he does not have an arm. But yeah, you could be, who knows? Did he do it on purpose? Was he on something? Yeah. Some people say he was on stuff. Who knows? I don't think that changes the story.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, if he was trying to commit suicide and he chooses that way, that would be fucking crazy. But there's nothing that suggests that's true. So we don't need to say that. Since then, since the video was posted, we have found out now that the GoFundMe has been paused. So that is no longer able. Okay. First, the name switched on it, and then it was paused. And now the Missouri Attorney General's office is investigating Matt Miller.
Yeah.
And everything around it, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me skip ahead in this article here because there's been some people are wondering if the charities were even real, and did Matt Miller ever send any of the money? Miller's own charity, 417 Foundation, was forcibly dissolved in 2019 for compliance.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But he continues citing it as a beneficiary for the fundraising. That's a huge red flag, obviously. Miller named his administratively defunct foundation in 2020 when soliciting funds for a scholarship fund pegged to the death of George Floyd. And then he promoted this scholarship program again in 2022 for a series of fantasy leagues, apparently. And this article is assuming that's going to be the heaviest portion of the Attorney General's investigation, which certainly seems like a charity scam there would be my guess. But, we'll find out. The article, again, talks about raising the goals. They don't understand how GoFundMe works.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, it certainly seemed like he did some charity fraud scam. Then he had all these other online businesses, right? He was offering consultations. He was offering NFL draft analysis, take their money, ghosted them, whatever. Some people are giving him the benefit of just saying he's a bad communicator. Some people are saying he did it on purpose. Certainly the pattern suggests that. I don't know. But yeah, another thing that happened in the subreddit, because since we're running out of time, the person who reported Matt Miller to Sleeper Fantasy is in that subreddit and has screenshots. He got Matt Miller banned from Sleeper. So
wow.
And this is before the accident. He posted this. So there's shit happening, and he got him banned from Sleeper. And then Sleeper's like, if this is indeed Matt Miller, then we'll be able to verify that if he ever writes back in, blah, blah, blah. You can go to the subreddit again, r/dynastyff. People are just like roasting him there, talking about like this happened, this happened, this happened. All of these accounts, screenshots everywhere. And then the accident takes place, and then more people rush there to give their stories and talk about what's going on. So that's been a hub for information for a lot of this stuff. But yeah, like I said, messy story.
Very.
Very messy story. And like, I don't know. It's crazy that the Attorney General is investigating him now, though.
Yeah. And listen, I think it's worth saying, I'm going to look more into this. I hope everyone else does too. There's a world where the GoFundMe is the least scammy thing he's
100%.
done. And it's brought light to everything else, which is interesting.
Here's the thing. He was in the ICU, so beat up, arm removed. Like, he's so loopy. I don't think he said to put the GoFundMe up.
No, and listen, that's what I was going to say is, without naming names, because I don't want to bring attention to any specific other pieces, there's been a lot of GoFundMes over the last year or two that have raised money for tragedies that were not by the person. This is another criticism of the GoFundMe pieces. They name the cause, but this could be someone's cousin. This could be someone's, and I'm not even, in this case, it seems more connected to that, but I'm just saying, you don't know. You don't know the involvement of the person involved. So that is wild. It's also like the run that gambling in sports has been having for the news cycle of late. And now, I mean, this is not to you, not to me, which means to you, this is not surprising at all. Like, this level of corruption is pretty all over these fantasy pay-to-play sites. Yes. And so I think that is where I guess my closing thought is like, this could be industry impacting if this is like named leader in the industry is scamming people. Like, that is a bigger deal to me, is that he's scanning people through his work while being employed by ESPN.
And people kept writing into ESPN's PR, general counsel, all that. So, and by the way, a lot of those people who wrote in got paid, I think, the day or the week before this accident took place. I think a day or two before this accident took place. ESPN finally did something, seemingly. Like, they kept writing into ESPN, this guy did this, they're not paying me, not paying me, not paying me. And then they finally got paid out of the blue for fantasy leagues from last year and stuff from last year.
Yeah.
So, like, the timing is so weird. That's why, like, conspiracies kind of make sense. It's like, I'm just getting paid now, and now this accident takes place. People are saying the GoFundMe money is to help pay out everybody. You know what I mean? It's the Phil Mickelson thing that you talked about with me. Where it's like, you borrow money to pay this bet, and you're gambling. You keep borrowing to pay the last guy.
100 exactly. Sorry. After the show, I have to tell you a new Phil Mickelson thing I learned. But yes, people should look up. But it's so true. It's also, listen, they asked for $10,000. They got much more. So there's some questions there of, did they only need 10,000? And now he's been given 40,000 extra dollars. So he's paying off debts, whether that's the intent or not. Like you said, like, he doesn't set the escalating goals. So now I think it's a fair question. The only thing I can think of with the GoFundMe is like, did he need any money at all? I don't know how you ever answer that. I don't know. Then that's for individual donators, I think, to answer. But
true. Was
any of it necessary, or was it a opportunity to ask for money? And you know what? Even if it was, that part is not the part I have issue with, because again, medical bills in the US are crazy. So it's like, if you would like to donate, I will accept. I don't think is bad, but doesn't sound like he's going to donate surplus funds.
No, the whole thing with his charity being defunct, and then he keeps citing them as a beneficiary. That's what it's like. If you lie about that, which is seemingly just charity fraud right there, like, how do you believe anything else? And that's fair.
Well, and all of his fantasy leagues are charity fantasy leagues.
Yeah. And by the way, this is kind of a side note, kind of not. But people looked up, you can find like his fantasy record and stuff. In 200 leagues, he won one. In one point is like that. Okay, so whatever. But he is acting as the top dog, top smartest person in the industry, and he's so unsuccessful at the thing that he's supposed to be good at. So that just adds to the illusion of him being this trusted top source and just duping people, The
question I will ask people that I'll end on is, I think it's worth, because to me, this is still, when I think fantasy, the big name, I think it's worth for people to consider how would they be reacting to this if the name instead was Matthew Berry. Yeah. Not to like throw him in, but it's like that is seemingly where ESPN has put this person's platform. And
he somehow bridged fantasy and real life, just NFL draft stuff.
Yeah, which is wild.
The top guy.
Listen, I think ESPN is worthy of a heaping amount, which it seems more frequently these days, criticism, because how are they not monitoring what their fantasy expert does on fantasy platforms?
Right. 100% that I
guess they don't care about
there's a 0% chance they weren't aware of this.
Yes. I was just going to say, I suppose they also don't care about Mel Kiper's hit rate on prospect projection. So maybe that's universal. We don't track what anyone does, so guess that could be consistent.
That is true. Yeah. I mean, being right doesn't really matter, but still, there's no shot that they weren't aware of what was going on. There's other stories about people couldn't cancel their subscription to, I think it was an ESPN product from Matt Miller for like NFL draft stuff that hadn't been going for like years. Like it was a couple years and they couldn't cancel it. They just kept getting charged. There was nothing there. So
yeah, this reeks of this guy's got a lot of red flags that are all coming to light right now.
Yeah.
And like you said, we still have to find out, I would guess, some legal outcomes from the crash itself.
You would think so. Very clearly he was the one at fault, not the semi driver, is what it seems.
So 100%. We'll see. Zach, thanks for bringing this up today.
No problem.
I'm going to do a lot of searching. I have a tab open called Reckless Ben Lego.
So good, dude. If people haven't watched that, talk about twists and turns. It's insane. You will get infuriated.
Yeah.
So angry. You will be so angry. It's so good though.
Oh man. In the meantime, please support the original video Zach and I were referencing here, and please support Flurry Sports Games.
Yes. Games.flurrysports.org. New games, 5 new daily games every single day. And then you got all these other quizzes that you can keep replaying, challenge people. Go there, start building up your points, start getting into the games. Once you get your 7-day streak, you get extra points, climb the leaderboard, challenge me, see if you can pass me and Jake. But then once the NFL season comes, the plan is to have a weekly game for prizes.
Yes.
So you want to get over there, get used to the water. You don't want to be the one diving in week 1 and be like, oh, it's too cold. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to get over there, get used to it, get ingratiated. And then once the season comes, fucking game on. Lights come on. And it's time to play. So, go check out Flurry Sports Fantasy Football channel as well. A lot of fantasy football content going up there, including that video. Give it a like, subscribe. Let's see if we can get over to 200 subscribers by the start of the season. And next week, we'll be playing some games, I think. Yeah. I think that's the plan. So we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.